You and I. Welcome. Hello, Bruno. Welcome back to the Emperor Podcast. This is episode 3. We've titled it the champion, the crown, and the cross. I
The
believe
crown and the cross. Exactly.
something like that. Yeah. What we call it whatever we want, but
yeah, exactly.
I think that's close. How you doing tonight, Bruno?
Yeah, I think that's great. I'm doing actually very good. Yourself?
I can't complain.
I'm doing this on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I think people will either will all be home and available for it, or we're going to see nobody, and it'll just be a kind of a ghost town. But that might be fun, and we'll get it going either way.
So I mean, did you see the video? It was short, but I think it was full of action.
I did actually
this week too.
I made a comment as well about the what did I call it? The Hunger Games kind of announcements for the death. Like that was something that I really thought was kind of cool because that was something in the movies that I really enjoyed as well. So I thought it was neat for sure.
And I realize now that I put little events happening and I do little pictures and stuff, and Diego is always stepping me up. So I don't know why he's doing that all of a sudden, just is he trying to embarrass me or something? But he's so good at doing all those picture and putting the Emperor background in it. So I'll need to have him do more of that for us for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I like it. Very cool. It's engaging, right? And that's kind of what you really want to get more people in.
Exactly. So I think it's time. I think it's time to present our two guests. One you suspected, which is obviously the champion, the crown, and the cross, which is Derek. But we have a special guest, and I promised that. And it's the other administrator, Diego, that's going to be joining us tonight. So hopefully you have great questions for those two, because I'm very excited to have them here.
Super. Let's transition them in, and we'll get them over here. Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Yeah, exactly. Not your applause, your fake applause.
I have my canned applause. Well, it's one of these. Yeah, I never know, right? So hold on, watch. Let's see. Is that it?
Nice.
There we go.
That works. Yeah, low budget. And a special message for Kyla before we start. I keep saying bubbly, whatever. It's bubbly. Thank you, Kyla, for making sure I did this right. So I just wanted to put in this podcast so it's known. Yeah, excellent. Exactly, for sure. All right. So let's just start talking about, those guys. So Derek's been playing since what, Derek? You've been playing since 2002, 2003?
Been a long time. Yeah, many years, all the way back to the early days of working for the city with you at Sandy Hill, and I know you've tried to convince me to come on as an admin, but you got Diego. He's doing a hell of a job, so I'm happy to keep playing in the meantime.
All right. So I'm curious to know, what would be the biggest difference you saw in the game between the time we played in 2002, 2003, and now 225 now?
Just probably in the sheer number of players. I can recall early on when, maybe we had a dozen players going at the same time, and now it takes 2 admins to do it all, because we have, like, how many players do we have this year alone? It's pretty crazy. The map has expanded. There's been so many advances in it all. Like, you've trademarked it now at this point, right? It's become such a big deal. We have a manual. We have, like, the maps have been redone. It's come a long way. It's leaps and bounds compared to the first year that we played it. It's become its own little universe. I know people. We were just discussing earlier before we went live. People use it as their little escape. I think that might be important to touch on, but it's insane. It's grown into its own thing. It's become a part of people's lives.
Wait, time out. So people actually enjoy taking their turns. I get so anxious every week for that call, and I never know if I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing. I want to hear some stories about that too.
Well, if Bruno's your admin, you have to be careful because he can be very suggestive, and you can also you can suggest things as well. Obviously, like I'm thinking this, but he's a hard book to read. So so sometimes it's like, I think I'd like to do this, and you get no reaction, right? Which is great. That's exactly what you want. You don't want it to be obvious.
Or you get the why. What? Why do you want to do that? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. I don't know anymore. I'm like, I want to walk that back all of a sudden and change it, do something different.
I have to keep you guys on your toes, right?
Yeah.
If it's just me always listening, then it's boring. So, I like to create some doubt in players.
Oh, you've definitely done that over the years. That's for sure.
So we were talking offline about that, but what is it? You won in 2000, would have been 2005 or 2006. So maybe 20 years ago. So, so you were playing Novgorod or Etz. Those were the two things we were unsure, right?
Yeah, somewhere in that region for sure. Somewhere in what would now be modern day Russia for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
So what's your take on those major cities? Because you got Novgorod. You've got Novgorod last year because you weren't the Pope last year. So what major difference do you see from a city that big? And now, let's be honest, you're going to be the Pope eventually. So you have Rome. So you have the same style of city. So what's the major difference would you see between a regular major city and the big cities like that?
Honestly, like for me, the big factor, like the sooner I can get to Novgorod, usually the better. I'm sure Constantinople feels the same way. Rome feels the same way. Having those four walls, having that extra layer of protection, certainly makes a huge difference.
Okay. And what would be the biggest difference? Because for you being Pope, for our viewers, it's fairly new. You had one go, not last year, the year prior, because Paul took a year off. Paul came back, and now you're going at it. So it's really your second year as the Pope. What would be the major difference you would say in play strategy if you want playing the Pope?
It's a very different. Well, it's the same but different. It's evolved a little bit over the last couple of times I've played too. So 2 years ago, when I had the chance to play Papal State, it acted as more of a support role with the other Catholic nations. Now it's back to kind of being its own entity, the main difference I see is, so a lot of you go out, you explore the land, you build up your maps, and you're basically trying to conquer or be diplomatic and taking over cities or buying out cities and building your way up. For me, it's a very different game right now in the sense that I'm not looking to buy anything out, I may be a little diplomatic, and you may have some visitors come to your cities very soon. But otherwise, it's a ranking up for me. It's not like I just get thrown into the Pope position right off the bat. I start out as a bishop, and I have to work more of my character sheet and build up my stats so that I'm able to have enough points to move up into a cardinal position, which is where I'm at right now, and then continue building upon that. So that eventually I have an opportunity to become the Pope. So I'm not focused on major cities right now or building up what's around me. I'm more interested in building up my character itself.
Okay, that's a fair point. And how much help was it that Aleppo kind of killed your priest? So when somebody kills your priest and you're able to make that transition and able to build an army, how much help is that to you?
It's a significant help. Even if I had been sitting in the throne at Rome, um, it's as a religious figure, you can't just go declaring war on whoever you want. So all of a sudden, when I have priests return to me with no heads, it's an opportunity to declare war, an opportunity to for the to declare myself king, and to start slowly building up, amassing an army, and getting my Catholic brothers and sisters to come to aid, and we're crusading.
Yeah, I like it. So Diego, now I would have similar question to you, and for people, what would be your biggest revelation moving from a player perspective to an administrator? Because let's be honest, when you become an administrator, everything's pretty much, shown to you. So what would be the one or two of the biggest revelation you got once you had access to all those formulas and explanation?
It's so much work.
Yeah, I get you. It is a lot of work.
So much work. But it's so much fun. Just sitting there, I don't have to make the decisions. I'm not the one sweating. My mind is not rushing, but what if this happens? What if that happens? It's just, my mind is clear, and all I have to do is just pay attention to just write it down, and the work comes later, mixing everything in. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. But so much work.
Yeah, how many years did you play before becoming an administrator? Is it 2 or 3?
3. I played for 3 years, and I peaked on year 1.
What were you playing in year 1?
Norway.
Yeah. And that's when the betrayal happened.
No, the betrayal happened in my last year.
Oh, and what happened exactly? So let's put it right on the podcast, so it's said now.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
You don't have to complain about it every time somebody dies.
Now's your chance.
Yeah,
Now's your chance.
You weren't betrayed.
So I was in an alliance or a treaty with Norway. I can't remember who was playing Norway, but they won that year. Did they? I think so.
Yeah, it's Francis. Francis, if you're listening to us, Francis McLaren.
Oh, that was the betrayal. Yeah. Okay, cool.
He's playing Iceland this year, so just saying.
So, yeah. So we were in a treaty or an alliance, and it was about 5 years, 5 weeks. And I tried to reach out to try to extend it beyond the time frame.
Oh.
And I was told that they were working on an alliance with Iceland, which they were already on at the same time as they were with me, and they would come back to me the following week or the following year. That's what I was told.
Oh. You got ghosted. That's basically what it is. That's what the kids would say these days. You just got ghosted.
I was.
With a knife in your back too, which is even worse.
So that very next year, or that next week, I finally got my shipyard, because I was late building a shipyard. I got it built, and I got boats in the water. And the moment the boats hit the water, Iceland destroyed them. And that's when everything clicked in. And from the north, I have a Norwegian army coming down, destroying every single city I had along the coast. Until they get to my capital. So I burned through my capital, building the largest army I could, knowing I couldn't survive.
Yeah.
I opened the gates and I went out with a bang.
The only way to do it.
I think they had like 75,000. What's the Viking?
Berserkers?
Berserkers. Yep.
Yeah, they are nasty. They are nasty.
Yeah.
Scandinavian countries, Iceland, whatever, Norway, Sweden, Finnish tribes are harder to play. They are certainly harder to play, but when you get the hang of it, they are killing machine with the berserkers. As soon as you can get them out, those are units that will change a battle for sure.
Yeah.
Pro tip though, if we go back, Diego mentioned boats. Those can be game changers too. I always found anytime I've played, by the time I reach a body of water, I'm already too late. So those of you that are near bodies of water, start building early.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's another one. And yeah, and it's a different type of warfare too. And I speak about the players that are near water, that it's all good being on an island where you're isolated until you're unable to defend the waters around it, and then you have transport ship coming in and just blowing you out.
Walking through.
So very important. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that little feud happening between ANU and Japan, back and forth with the assassin and the hate going there. So it's going to be probably a kind of a naval warfare for those two to be able to succeed and move forward. So I'm looking forward to see that too.
Yeah, agreed.
So a discussion I wanted to bring to all of you, and it's not in the notes because I prepared little mystery questions for all of you guys, but assassins. It's been a discussion now for years. I've pulled reports and did numbers crunching and percentage, and we're not, it is hard because it happens at the beginning of the game, but we're not higher in percentage compared to other years.
Oh, okay.
And each year we're trying to define it. So last year we had a progression, and correct me if I'm wrong there, Diego, but the assassin came in, and if he was successful, we took kind of in consideration your health to see how much the assassin would do damage. So you may not have died, you may have just lost AP. So, but a lot of people die with assassin, and we won't name anyone, but the Pope is usually one that uses a lot of that.
Yep.
And,
maybe.
Just maybe not. I remember.
No way of proving it.
Being very useful. Yeah, exactly. Nobody knows.
Unnamed assassin.
But,
Yep. No body was ever found either.
Oh, that I'm looking forward for that season to finish to explain that one.
I want to know. Yeah, I'm curious.
Players are so creative that it will push me and Diego to create a brand new set of rules for the game for the first time ever. Like, this never happened in 27 years of playing, 28 years, even more. So I love how players are creative in finding ways of doing new things, with what's in place. So, but that being said, we're kind of leaving the discussion. What's your take on assassins? Wow.
Where to begin?
They're fun.
They're a lot of fun.
There was a lot of talk though pre-game about bodyguards, and so I think maybe for this season, people kind of like geared up early and protected themselves early. No,
not everybody. No.
No, I know there's still been lots of assassinations, but.
And I don't know for Diego. I don't know how he administers, and he's doing a great job. But I always try to benchmark new players.
Okay.
Like, this is what 1,000 bodyguard gives you as point.
Yeah.
Give you an idea of what you're aiming at. And I don't know if they were afraid to not have enough money in grain, but some decided not to. Some decided to take like 100, which is fine. But then you're open to that type. And I can tell you right now that we have some players, like not one, but several in game right now that does not have bodyguards.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you.
No, it's
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's why, from your perspective, I would like to know how you feel about it, because some players says, it's a cheat, it's an easy way to get a kill and win the game or win territory. Other people feel betrayed, which you should, because it's an assassin. That's what it does.
Yeah, of course.
So what's your take on it? And maybe, Diego, you never been assassinated, right?
Nope.
No, never happened to you.
Never had bodyguards either.
Really? That is awesome.
Yep.
Derek, neither.
No, but I may have sent out a few.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you feel when you send an assassin and he's successful?
Amazing.
Yeah.
No. But honestly, it's a crapshoot, and that's the beauty of this game, is you never know. Like every move could be your last move. So who knows? If you get caught, you don't know how quickly the retaliation is going to come, or if they even choose to retaliate. Maybe they go radio silence on you, and that's even worse.
Right. Yeah. True.
But when you are successful, I don't see it as a cheap move. I mean, this year alone, especially after the last time that I played Papal State and the way Paul has played it in the past, there seem to be a lot of whispers of fear of Catholic assassins showing up at your door. So I think a lot of people ponied up for bodyguards at the beginning, but still not everybody. So take this as your warning now. But yeah, successful, awesome. I mean, let's be honest. Back in those days, they had bodyguards, royal guards, you name it, so that it wasn't easy to just take out a king and take over a land, or a queen for that matter. So you kind of have to think how they would have done things back in the day. So an assassin was absolutely a potential. So need to be prepared. And again, you said people are being creative. You and Diego are having to come up with new rules. That is maybe one of the beauty, like the best parts of this game, is your imagination is like it's unlimited in this, as long as it's doable. You know what I mean? As long as it's representative of the time, the age, and would be feasible, then yeah, the sky's the limit. So go for it. So that's wonderful. And no two players think the same way. No two players will play the game the same way. Everybody's got their little ways of doing things, or focus on other things. Some people want to focus on building up knowledge, or people want to go straight into building up points in their infrastructure, or hiring administrators, or hiring an army, or some people it's researches. So it's all over the map, and that's what's so great, is you make this world of your own. It's modeled after how you want it to be.
How you want it to be, yeah. Speaking of other players, we have a couple comments in the chat, which I'll just touch on, and then we can keep going. So Anna Bunn said this is their first year playing, and it's one of the things that they look forward to every week. I think that was an earlier comment. And then Sireta.org said, "Send out the assassins," and there you go. So we'll get back to it.
Oh, don't you worry, they're coming.
Just stop it.
So I had a question and got my loss.
Sorry, yeah.
That's no, it's all good. Me and Diego usually see a difference in each player, I would say, starting this week. I think from this week moving on, everybody is on a different path. And my fear is always that the game will be played the same way by everyone.
Right.
And to see that difference and see people going outside and trying new stuff is always amazing.
Yeah.
So people are unique in that sense and doing their own thing.
You must get used to people's personality, right? And their strengths in how they play the game. Like, as in, we've talked about the economists and the warmongers and that sort of stuff that maybe you get to know the people and be like, okay, they're going to lean this way. But do you ever get someone that's traditionally an economist say, okay, I'm going to try and go strictly diplomacy this year and try and work a completely different angle?
We all, yes, and we have that this year where people that were traditional war oriented are trying the economy, or other people that were more focused on diplomacy that are trying war and trying to see. I guess you play for a few years, and again, it takes 4 or 5 years to be really able to play the game and maybe have a chance at finishing top 3 or top 5. And there's always surprises, which is nice to see. But, after a few years, if you don't have success, you may have, you may say, okay, let's try playing this differently. Maybe it won't go as well. Maybe it will go better. And that's okay too. At least you're trying new things. And I think a player like Derek or Chad, the experienced player that are playing, and the one coming up, you have what I call the League of Champions that will, like Francis McLaren, Derek, Paul, Julie, they'll come in to win, and they'll play great games no matter when the year or what they're playing. But you have the upcoming also players that I'm always, starting to hit the 4-year mark, like Austin, Sarah, Dan Lizotte, Krista starting to really start the machine. So I'm interested to see in 2-3 years, there won't be a League of Champions. There'll be like 15, 20 players, and then the new players coming in. And if we're able to have more and more players, and we're seeing that now, is that you have an experienced player building up and trying to build this empire, and then the new players just want to learn, so they keep attacking and stuff and killing the experienced players. So that dynamic is going to be interesting to see in the next few years. So very exciting stuff. So another thing I wanted to discuss is the vassalage. We took that off last year. And we took that off because we realized that people paying vassal of other players felt trapped sometimes. And it's not the same feeling, right? And then we have the one that are the king or the lord, and they're having issues telling the vassal what to do. So
maybe just to give a bit of background is to say, when another player nation took over, say, my nation, and I could then be a vassal of that team or that nation. So still kind of the gray area of like how I responded and what I did within under that control was what Bruno's talking about. So yeah, sorry. So just to new players understand, because I had a vassal and then was quickly taken over by somebody else and then became a vassal of that nation as well. So it was fun.
So what did you see as a difference? Did you like being a vassal?
Well, so when I killed Dan last year, I had a great time. It was a wonderful surprise for me.
Shout out to Dan Lizotte.
Dan Lizotte. I'm not sure if he's there yet, but I hope he shows up, because I'm going to bring it up every single week. But what it was it meant like he and I opened up a chat, and basically we're in an alliance, although I was directing what we did. I lasted a week, so I really didn't have a chance to be some grand king or anything like that. But we just said, okay, so he said, what do you want me to do? I said, I need money. And he just started feeding and transferring over the economy right over to us. And then we went and built the army, which inevitably died. But so it was cool to see that side of it, that when I died, I wasn't completely out of the game, because we are investing a lot of time And so to still be able to stay in it a little bit longer was a lot of fun too. So maybe it's something we could look at as how you like remodel it or reshape it. But like I know for some players who have played for 3 weeks and are now dead, they still want more. So you got to feel for those players, but yeah.
Yeah, and for sure we feel for the players too. But what you need to understand from our perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I think me and Diego kind of differ in opinions, is that I have 35 players. At the beginning, yes, I can fit everybody in half an hour. When you get later on, like week 10, 11, and 12, turns are no more than, it's not half an hour anymore,
No.
or the updates are long to process. So at that point, you're never slowing down, and that's the thing. So at that point, from an administrator point of view, it's a lot to take on.
Right.
So that's why this year we tried the Vassal with AI. So I'm really looking forward to see if any players will take advantage of that.
Right.
And since we're speaking about it, I just want to be clear up. It's in the war module, but it may not be clear. To have a city or major city as a vassal or a village or a big village, you need to conquer it with a military force. And it wasn't written. And as you know, this week I've added to the manual. So some players are always, saying, I didn't read this, I don't know where to find this. So I add it in the manual. But be sure that too will be added to the manual next week.
And what would the benefits be to saying, like, I want a village or a city as a vassal AI city?
So at that point, they provide money. They pay tribute.
Right.
So the more you have, the more money you have to come in your coffers. But they create a bit more of unrest in your cities, in your empire. So that's the drawback. You get money, but you also get unrest. So if you take too many, the unrest becomes unmanageable. What's that word?
Unmanageable.
French guy struggling. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that at that point your empire crumbles. So it's always a question of what do you want to do and how you want to do it.
Right. But if you can manage the unrest and manage
also,
the discord that's going on, and you're gonna generate more revenue capital.
Yeah, for sure. And you can't build it in those cities, right? They're really just cities that, and they don't cost AP either. So they're really just transferring you money. They use transport to do so. So at that point, they are open to being raided and get that money from somebody else.
Fair enough.
We had our first raid this week, so I'm very excited to see how that's going to go.
Nice.
So, yeah, exactly. Every week is a different week.
That's awesome.
Do we have any questions, KC?
We had a comment. It was Anna Bunn said, "Oh no, I got bodyguards right away. I'm trying to Daenerys this whole game. You ain't gonna catch me lacking."
Bring on the dragons.
I like that.
And Diego said, "Bingo card. What you need to understand." You want to follow up on that? Diego?
Oh no, that was just my bingo card.
Yeah,
I had it. I got lucky.
Yeah, I hear
What
you.
you need to understand is.
There's more there for sure.
Another question we had was about the research. I think it was Martin who asked the question earlier, maybe yesterday, potentially. Is it worthwhile, like, clearing that up or bringing it up and discussing it?
We can discuss. So, Derek, did you do research in the past? Were you a big guy, strong on research? You were, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's varied over the years. The 2 years ago when I was Papal State, again, more of a support role. So what was nice about it at the time was I could do a bunch of research, spend my action points there, and then share it with the other Catholic nations so that they all had it. So we would all prosper. Oh, well, there you go. There's your pro tip for the day.
That's huge.
So do keep that in mind. There's varying levels of each research, and once again, there's lots of different things you can research. Your imagination, I'm sure, can come up with quite a few. So.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give a history about Derek, what he's saying, 2 years ago we tried a new, because Emperor is all about trying stuff. We had 2 layers of playing. We had the head of religion, so you could play a head of religion or you could play a nation. So we would have 2 winners, in the sense that the head of religion of the nation that won also the game.
Okay.
So the Pope was not there to conquer and expand. The Pope was there to make sure the Catholic nation won.
Right. Raise
so
the
that
religion.
brought
Yep.
a new dynamic. Yeah. What we realize is that as much as that worked for the Pope and Catholicism, it doesn't really work for the other religion.
Yeah, they're too small.
Not only that, they work different. Like everybody has an imam, right? Imam, if you make your research, is basically the leader of that community in that faith. So it's not like they have an imam that's really like the symbol of Islam. So, and same thing with Buddhism. They have several monks, and they share, their values and stuff, but the Dalai Lama is not a figure that will push other society to conquer the world and support that. Really, the Pope was pretty much the only one that wanted everybody to be Catholic. So, I mean, in medieval time, obviously. So, at that point, it didn't work out. So we came back to the older model, which is the papal state could actually win the game, which with conditions, obviously, and Derek's finding that out. So that's what he's saying. But research, yes, it is it is good. It is up to you to decide if you want to do it. Research your special unit is always. We spoke about the berserkers.
Mm-hmm.
We have somebody playing the Holy Roman Empire with the Teutonic Knights. You didn't see them coming, but once you do, you'll see what it is. England has their long bowmen, in a defense position, 2-3 walls. You have those bad boys on the walls. It's going to create all sort of problem for you. So don't be afraid to research at least your special unit. But there's a bunch of things that you can research that is beneficial, like deep sea fishing.
Yep.
For anyone on the islands that didn't do that yet, might be something. We have some players that did it, and the amount of grain that can provide in the right area is phenomenal. So don't put aside but yes, you need a research center. I understand that you need the researchers and you need to start it. So 30 action point right off the bat may not seem very tempting, but in the long run, if you have grain problem, researching farming or fishing, could be a solution too.
And you can only research for long-term gain.
And you can only search one thing per research center?
Per city. So you can build multiple research center in different city and start multiple research. But I can tell you that people that won were doing research.
Yep.
Like Chad is always not early game. Obviously, I understand that. You have other things like civic rates. We should speak about civic rates. This is funny. But research is always, if not just for your special unit, a good way to go forward.
Awesome.
Like infrastructure can be research. What else can be research? There's a bunch of things.
Agriculture.
Agriculture, yeah, farming.
Fishing, farming, yeah.
Yeah, so they're all gonna. What?
Heavy units.
Heavy units, yeah, special units, and there's administration that gives you. People maxed out their admin skill. And they say, how do I get more admin? It's unlimited. You have no levels to administration. So you can research it 250 times if you want. So, you know, there's positive there 100%.
Nice.
And that brings civic rates, and I wanted to speak to you, Derek, about it, and maybe Diego when you were a player. How much of an impact have civic rates in the way you're playing?
Huge. It's huge. If you have unrest within your city, like people have died because they haven't solved their civic rates.
That was my question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's absolutely. I do believe there was a recent announcement about a plague making its way through the world right now as well.
Yeah.
That's as a result of people not taking care of civic rates. So it can have huge impacts. Absolutely.
And by the way, that disease going south Europe. So it started in the north. So it's just expanding. Europe being a busy place, the player will have a lot of fun with that
one. We'll pray and pray hard.
Yeah, exactly. So you, Diego, did you put a lot of emphasis on civic rates?
I did. It was a different game then. I remember temples where I was spamming temples because they were so good. They would increase the happiness. They would lower rebellion. They would raise my religion. They would convert other people that I was taking over as into my religion. They were awesome. But the game has changed a little bit. Just remember, for players, there are more ways to work on your civic rates than just hiring or putting points into your stats. If you look at your city sheet, you'll see buildings dedicated, and sometimes more than one building per civic rate. So you have, disease, crime, fire. Some buildings help with more than just one of those. So just take a look at your city sheet, and take a look at the buildings that are there.
Yeah, and that comes back to our discussion we had last week, Casey, about infrastructure or employees, right?
Yep.
But even outside of that, if you look, there's even other things outside of that can help you, like a social advisor. So there's other ways to help yourself too. But yes, civic rates are important. And if you don't solve them, then your city's on fire or a disease breakout, and then it's fun for everybody. Anyway, it's exciting for me now that every other player will get a disease coming that and the worst part is if any player fail their disease rate, well, it goes to a level 3, and now it expands even faster and bigger. So we never know. In 5 weeks, it could be all the way in Asia, and that's going to be a lot of fun to see how that progresses.
All right. Okay. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, sure. So, Diego and Derek, if you had advice to give any new players without giving, I know as an administrator, you have to be careful there, Diego, but in Derek, you don't want to spoil and give you all your secrets out. But if you had 2 or 3 advice for new players, what would they be? Except having bodyguards. Obviously, get bodyguards.
I was just going to say, number 1, bodyguards are important.
Exactly. All my experienced players, all my champions start their first move, like first turn, first action, is they get bodyguards. It's just to tell you how important they are. So anyway, that being said, piece of advice that you would have for new players.
Never underestimate the power of an assassin.
Yeah.
Watch your back. I think every year you learn something. No, seriously though, every year you learn something new. So last year I'll throw it out there. I went after another player. And basically had exhausted my city of soldiers, and another nation came in, and that was that.
Yeah.
Yep. Clean sweep. So don't. So literally, watch your back. And and just have fun with it. Like I understand, again, we've talked about this being an escape. It becomes people's passion. Just remember, it is still a game, and it's all friendly, and nobody wants that message from Bruno saying if you got 2 minutes to chat, because that's
Yeah, the
usually the
new
sign that
players didn't
your
pick
game
up on it.
is, yeah, that's usually the sign that your game's coming to an end. So it's like, yeah, are we having that conversation? Yeah, we're having that conversation. Okay, fair enough. But you never know. Keep an open mind, and you until the words you win are spoken, you never know what's going to happen, because as we said, everyone plays a little bit differently. So
Right.
any advice,
Diego?
Diego?
No, same thing. Have fun with it. I know I mentioned earlier that now I don't have to be the nervous one, but even though I know players get nervous sometimes, it's as long as they're having fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And if we do have that conversation where your game's coming to an end, there's always next year. When it comes to the actual game or tactics, watch the news. Because I'll have something in there and that's maybe relevant to what's going on. Like we're talking about Deceased now. If you go back to week 2 of the news, we had that commercial with the rats.
The rats.
I warned everybody, watch out for Deceased. So just watch the news. You may find, I'm not going to tell you outright, but you may find something that's relevant to what's going on with your game right now.
Foreshadowing the future. I like it.
Yeah. So.
Thank you. That's great advice. What would be your best part that you love about Emperor? What would be the key thing that makes you come back? Because Derek, I mean, after 20 years, at one point, you say, you saw the game like from beginning to end. You know the game. So what makes you come back every year and play the game? What is one thing that you really enjoy about that game? And Diego, the question also go with you. You've seen both sides, but you now see the work of an administrator. What keeps you involved and wanted to come back as an administrator?
As a player, it was seeing you every week.
Nice.
Oh, you're so nice.
Great answer. That was perfect.
Such a liar, but I love it. I love it.
And as an administrator, it's the interaction, and then knowing what everyone else is doing. I'm a very nosy person. In my job, I'm able to see what people do in their daily lives, and as an admin here, I get to see what people do when they're doing their turns, and I enjoy that very, very much. Knowing what's going on all around the game, not just in my particular part of the world, is pretty nice.
Okay. And Derek?
I think we already kind of touched on it. I think I like the variety, because I don't play the same way twice, or else I'll be able to switch up nations and look at things from a completely different perspective. I've gone from being the warlord to trying the diplomatic way, to trying to do the economic way. I've switched it up a few times over the years. Like I say, traded off different nations. I haven't gone too far outside of Europe, but we'll see what happens. I do enjoy playing the Papal State, but Paul may want to come back and reclaim that throne at some point. So you never know. Lots of opportunities, and as the map continues to expand, it just allows for more and different opportunities.
Yeah, and that's a great point. People tell me, and I answer that, the champions have a way of playing, but you're right. You're always a bit, trying new stuff and going different ways. So that too can work for a player. So don't think you need to play a game a certain way all the time. So that's a good one. And what would be your biggest challenge playing Emperor? When you played Diego, what was the biggest challenge you had?
Depends on the year.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. What do you mean?
Year one, um, my biggest challenge was population. I couldn't keep up strategically. Year two, buyouts. I got bought out. And year three was betrayal.
Yeah, okay. Yes, because in the past, that's why we changed it. You could buy out the capital of somebody else and kill him in the process. So we changed that, and that's because Diego and other player, and we felt that that was not in medieval time anyway, was not the way to do it. So we came back a bit more to military on that one.
And who would
So
do such a thing?
Yeah.
is it you that bought him out? Really?
Maybe. Might have been.
Who were you playing year two, Diego?
I was Norway.
Did you
Oh
play
no, it wouldn't have
Norway
been
3
me.
years in a row?
I played Norway twice, and then I was Finland, or the Finnish
Finland.
tribes.
Okay, so it couldn't have been Derek.
No,
No, I
it
don't
wouldn't have been
believe
me
so.
at that
No.
point.
Now, did you buy out somebody to kill him, Derek? I think you did, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That
That's
was
cold.
Did it a
That's
couple of times.
cold.
That
So helpless.
that's the cold and cheap way of doing things for sure.
Yeah.
What wasn't cheap this way, but it was a way
Yeah,
to
because
progress.
there was a mat, and it cost like 15 or 20 million LP
Yeah.
to do it, or 25.
Ugh.
It was
Ugh.
a huge price, but players were able. You know, if you think like India that has a lot of population, a lot of cities, you just rampage around, you know, and get 20, 25 million, 50 million if needed, and just go at it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Wild.
that was harsh.
That's cold.
It was. All right. So did you have any challenges? I think, Derek, you didn't speak about the greatest challenge you
Uh, the greatest challenge? It's hard to pinpoint. I mean, early on, I think it can be very overwhelming just because of the possibilities of the game. So it's a kind of a free for all. It's like, well, what can I do? And then you very quickly learn that there's a lot of like anything goes almost. So then it's just a matter of like prioritizing. I think
Right.
what is most important to you, because otherwise, yeah, sky's the limit. And really, like I say, prioritizing is important because when you start off, you don't have many action points to begin with. So do you work on building those up, or do you work on finding other players first? Or again, everyone's got a different strategy. So I think, yeah, prioritizing and like I say, there's so much you can do, and you might not get to everything you want to do. Maybe fear of the unknown. Like if you don't encounter other players, and that moment of when you do have an interaction with explorers, like that first year, what do I do? What does this mean? Bruno, what just happened, right? And then it's, oh well, you made contact with another nation, and that's it, unless it's horse explorers, as we all know, because that always ends well. um, but I think, yeah, there's definitely a learning curve that first year, and it's like Bruno says, it does take a couple of years under your belt before you finally start mastering what's out there, and figuring out what works best for you. So that was the challenge early on. Now it's, I don't know that it's necessarily a challenge. It's just the fear of, am I keeping up with everybody else?
Yeah.
Where's everybody else at? And I mean, obviously, it's like going to interviews, right? You don't want to give away all your answers. Like we're not telling everybody here tonight, everything that we're doing, but you don't want to give away your trade secrets, and others don't want to tell you what they're doing, because they might be able to use it against you in a future session. But it would be interesting, to get tips and tricks from some of the other players, and see how they're going about doing things. I am curious to see how this missing body plays out, as we mentioned
Yeah.
earlier.
Me too.
So
Yeah. I see a grin
Time will
on
tell.
Diego's face.
I called
because
it.
he called it. He just went out, and we have our own channel, obviously, and he wrote it down. And I was like, "You're crazy. That will never happen." And he called it, and bam, it happened. So I was very excited to see a new thing happening like that. So
we do have a question in the chat, and then if we can go wherever we need to. But the question is, and again, this is poorly written, but they acknowledge it, so I'll just read it. It says, what's the average amount of action points in the per players right now? So I think they're looking at what's the approximate average action points. And I don't know if you can tell that or feel comfortable telling that, but where are people landing?
I think we can speak about minimums. If you're below 50 action points, I think that at this point you're behind.
You're behind.
Yeah. We do have players that have 100, 120, 125 action point per turn easily. So in average, I would say for my players, I would say 70, 80 action point is about the average. We have lower, we have higher, obviously. So he did ask for an average. I would say 70, 80 points per turn.
I think I'm at 80, and I don't mind sharing that. I'm at 80.
Yeah, and again, different things happens, right? Mm-hmm. You declare yourself king, that changes the game. You get 15 more, and more we see people building cultural centers or religious centers and becoming their head of religion or culture. So there's uniting your people. There's a lot of factor there, but if you're below 50, yeah, you're certainly behind a bit, and you need to change that as quickly as possible.
Awesome.
Any other questions?
That's it in the chat. If anybody does, by all means, jump in.
Yeah, but I think we're at the end here.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to take the last minute to thank Derek and Diego for coming tonight and talking to us and talking to the players. So thank you for that. And let's keep our eye on the Pope. And looking forward to give that mystery action there at the end of season. So thank you, guys. And before you leave, I just wanted to say our next podcast, we're looking to have some of the ladies player coming on. So I'm speaking about Krista, Sarah, Jessica, Jenny, Kyla. We have a lot of those, a lot of them playing the game, and I would like to see their perspective, even if you're a new player, experienced player, just to have your general feel for the game and see what you think of it. So I'll be reaching out, but if you want to reach out because you feel comfortable, let us know, and we'll certainly make sure you're on the next one.
Don't forget to like and subscribe those videos so that you get the notifications when they do go live, as well as stay involved in the Facebook group. Yeah, other than that, we'll see you next time.
Yes, and for all the players or people that are watching this podcast or watching the Diego's videos, make sure to write to me or go to our Facebook page and subscribe, and you can write a question there or just show interest, and then we can add you to our group and you can have a kind of a understanding on how the game goes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
The power of Christ compels you.
Oh, boy. Here we go. Watch your backs, everybody. He's coming for you.
As we said, watch your back.
Watch your backs. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Have a good night.
You too.
And we are no longer